I'm talking about the WNBA, the dumbest, most racist, most sexist, most jack league in the history of leagues, is at it again. Angel Reese is a fraud. Don't ever believe a word the woman says because she is a liar. They're moving heaven and earth to investigate Indiana. The biggest problem the WNBA had was how to couch this so as not to be seen as racist. Women in sports hate to see other women in sports succeed. You know, I say this all the time about ESPN. I do. I say this all the time. Diversity may be their strength, but actual analysis and TV is their weakness. I'll get to that in just a second. But once again, the worst run league in America. No, I'm not talking about the NBA. I'm talking about the WNBA, the dumbest, most racist, most sexist, most jackassery league in the history of leagues, is at it again. Remember when that lying clown, that lying, god-awful sociopath, Angel Reese, who, by the way, blocked me on Twitter, thank goodness, decided to lie again about my city, Indianapolis, about my town, the place where I live. I go to games. I go to dinner. I know this is a diverse, beautiful town, but she's an idiot, and she's always been an idiot. Last year, she lied about getting off of a bus and they were blocked from getting into their hotel room, to the point where the general manager of the Chicago Sky had to say, yeah, that was a lie. Video turned out, well, to show one guy asking one question. Angel Reese is a liar. Angel Reese is a fraud. Angel Reese is a sociopath. She's an idiot. And she is never, ever, under any circumstance, to be taken at her word. Let her go show her ass. Let her go dress up. Let her be, because of diversity and all the bullshit, on magazine covers. But don't ever believe a word the woman says, because she is a liar. And she has proven to be again. She accused, while getting her ass beat by 35, she accused the Indianapolis Fever fans of racist, monkey noises, whatever. And every idiot, including Chimichanga, whatever that dumbass's name is, every idiot on ESPN, every idiot in the Indy Star, Greg Doyle, again, of course, came to their defense because, well, diversity is our strength and we must celebrate it. We must believe everything every idiot says. You don't believe anything these dumbass says, anytime, anywhere. If Angel Reese tells you I'm wearing a Pacers jersey, you got to look at it and go, well, okay, I see it for myself. She is the worst of all people. The worst of all people, nonviolent crime division. Somebody that you just can't get the truth out of. Somebody that isn't afraid to hurt people because of her little platform that she's established by lying about them. That's the worst kind of people. Somebody does something wrong, you call them out, fine. But you don't lie about them to hurt them because you got beat by 35 and you suck. I mean, you suck. I mean, that's what you do. You're terrible and you suck. So, you know what? They're investigating her, us here, Indy. But they refuse to investigate, apparently, that dude, Brittany Griner, calling Caitlin Clark trash fucking white girl. Now think about that for a second. You know, well, it went from, no, she said whack, to, okay, well, we saw video where she says white girl, but white girl isn't offensive. Well, really? Of course it is. It's a racial slur, but why aren't we looking at that? We have actual video of that. We don't. They're moving heaven and earth to investigate Indiana. The moment Angel Reese and the Sky do their bullshit again. Their bullshit of claiming they heard monkey noises coming from the Fever crowd, to which the NBA just released. It has no proof whatsoever, none. And there is no proof. I know people that were sitting in the area and they said bullshit. Here's the statement. The usual suspects of the left-wing media are lying again. And Bobby Barack, well, he's got it all. And they're going after Bobby Barack. We have investigated the report of racist fan behavior in the vicinity of the court during the April 17, 2025 Sky Fever game based on information gathered to date, including from relevant fans, team, arena staff, as well as audio and video review of the game. We have not substantiated it. Didn't I tell you yesterday? I did. I told you yesterday the biggest problem the WNBA had was how to couch this so as not to be seen as racist, because for some reason the WNBA offices and their chicken shit commissioner are afraid to be seen as racist in spite of just telling the truth and worrying about the consequences later. So what they do, they release this statement 90 minutes before the biggest NBA game of the year involving the Pacers. They're full of shit. They're cowards, just like the entire league and the entire media of the WNBA. They can burn in hell as far as I'm concerned, because you cannot do what they did. You cannot use your platform to lie about people, to hurt those people because your feelings got hurt by getting your ass whooped. That is cowardly. That is chicken shit. That is Angel Reese. That is Chimichanga. That is Greg Doyle. That is all of these jackasses that you see across the media. Yet they're going to get mad at Bobby Barack for pointing out the obvious. You all are racist. You all are sexist. You all suck. Period. Brittany Griner, whom Biden traded, this is Bobby Barack, for the Merchant of Death, called Caitlin Clark and the white female ref trash, fucking white girls after getting fouled out. Any comment from that dumbass Monica McNutt? Is there anyone stupider, anyone less relevant than whoever the hell Monica McNutt is? Diversity is our strength, so we hire Monica McNutt. But actual analysis is our weakness, and we have stuck with Monica McNutt. Chimichanga. I mean, I don't know. Whoever the real, I don't even know who real Knelson is. I don't know. They're such idiots. They're so dumb. They're so ridiculous. They're so sexist and racist. They can't see through their own eyes. So far, the WNBA has no comment. Too busy investigating imaginary noises made towards Angel Reese. Brittany Griner, of course, deflects to racist fans in a video from last year while talking about supporters of Caitlin Clark. Traded this dude for the Merchant of Death. Let's hear from Brittany Griner.
How do you feel about what has happened over the past year with the W since you first came in to where it is now? And obviously the game has grown and people have, there's new fans, but how do you appreciate the new fans without all the noise that's coming?
I don't appreciate the new fans that sit there and yell racial slurs at myself, my teammates, and the people that I play against, because yeah, those might be opponents, but those are friends too. You know, they don't deserve that. So I don't appreciate the new fans. I think it's okay to do that.
Yeah, shut up. Honest to God, they don't deserve what? Somebody rooting for a white straight girl. That's what this dude is saying. They don't deserve a bunch of people loving a straight white girl. So when the investigators started, whatever this idiot's name is, Chini Oguamekai, whatever, she was adamant. There's no room for hate. Now listen to this dumbass, and here's the problem. At ESPN, there is no consequences for African Americans being wrong. Frankly, being idiots. And this woman's an idiot. She immediately jumped on a bandwagon of Indianapolis fans are bad. Now, I don't care. You can write Essentially Sports or The Spun or Awful Announcing. You can write all your bullshit, and you can talk about me, but this is my city. Black, white, this is my city. These are my friends. Not idiots, friends that go to games, that sit close. You know, I had a couple dudes that I know that were actually in the crowd. They said that's total bullshit from the moment it happened. One of them was black. Told me, Dan, that's total bullshit. This is what pisses me off, because they're so racist. This woman, Chinny, is so racist that she had to say, well, there's no place for hate. Now, this idiot, Chinny, and I don't even know who she is. I don't know her background. I just know I worked with her once, and she came out dancing like an idiot, and I sat there listening to her, and I thought, she had no shit. Like, literally. Like, why is she up there talking about basketball? I mean, she's that bad. She's really stupid. I mean, she's a smart girl, went to Stanford, I think. But when it comes to evaluating basketball, she's the worst out there. Like, nondescript. And we got to listen to her when the Pacers go to the finals. But here's this idiot after she was wrong. And now she becomes a victim / I'm not sure the exact word to call this. Listen to this dumbass.
Hey, everybody. I'm sure you've seen the WNBA statement on the investigation. And I want to address this with the same energy I did the first time, because if you really know me, I always try my absolute best to uplift the WNBA, to celebrate the amazing players, the coaches, and of course the fans. That is something that is at the core of everything that I do. But if you know me, you know I'm not afraid to say I can do better. I am sorry that my message was in the heat of the moment, because when I initially spoke on the topic, it really came from a place of care. It was based on firsthand conversations with people very close to the situation who raised real concerns, and they told me what they had experienced. And I felt like it was important and it was necessary to acknowledge those allegations and also voice those experiences. Now, in the process, however, I totally recognize that it may have impacted fans in a way that I did not intend, and I am sorry. I'm also happy that the WNBA treated the matter with the utmost seriousness, followed through with the investigation, and I understand that having a platform comes with a responsibility, and I do not take that lightly. So as our league continues to grow, I am going to grow with it. And I am so committed to be better in how I share perspectives and grow alongside the game that I truly love and adore. I mean, some of my favorite memories as a pro was playing in Indiana, and I truly believe that WNBA, we have the most passionate fans, and I'm grateful for our community. I hope you know that's who I am. All right. Love you guys. Thank you.
You're a lying, dumbass racist. You're a lying, dumbass, sexist racist. You didn't talk to anybody. You talked to Brittany, or whatever that idiot's name is, Angel Reese. You just lied to everybody. You are a lying fraud. That's all you are. You can get mad, glad, angry, or sad at me all you'd like. But you are a stone liar. You didn't talk to anybody in the crowd. You didn't talk to anybody that was there. You didn't talk to anybody that was an usher. You didn't talk to anybody. You talked to the idiots on the bench, and even those idiots, Angel Reese and whoever that clown-ass coach is of the Chicago Sky, he said, well, we didn't really hear it till after the game. No, she's lying. And she's trying to make herself out to be a victim, and she's trying to make herself out to be lovable. She's an idiot. I mean, that is exactly what she is. She's a lying, sexist idiot. That's it. I'm sorry. That's all. I mean, I'm not even sorry. I'm not sorry at all for saying that about her. You know, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to treat white people, black people the same. Now, you know, Dakich would be racist for saying that, but I'd say the same thing about a white dude. I just haven't seen any white people other than that dumbass Greg Doyle, there's no place. Oh, he's full of shit. He's trying to get back into the good graces of the Fever. And the Fever just laughed at him. I know people at the Fever, they're like, yeah, Doyle wrote an article basically saying there's no place for hate. He has no idea. They laughed at him like we all do. He's a dumbass too. I mean, but his stuff doesn't matter. I mean, his stuff, he's just a middle-aged white guy trying to continue to cash checks at an insignificant newspaper that really doesn't exist. But he did the same stupid shit. And I'm sure we won't see an apology. Hell, I've never gotten an apology from him. I got a text from him talking about his new scam being a Christian. But you won't hear it. The WNBA just will not comment on a black woman, I guess she's a woman, Brittany Griner, actually saying on video racist stuff about white people in the league. As we said earlier, so far, according to Bobby Barack, the WNBA has no comment on the racist white girl stuff of Brittany Griner. What are you going to do? All right, let's say everybody boycotts. So what? Too busy investigating imaginary noises toward Angel Reese. Now, it's really amazing. Crazy ass. So far, the WNBA has no comment. Too bad you investigate imaginary noises made towards Angel Reese. Don't boo. Angel Reese will get sad. Why does anybody give a rat's ass? You know she's a liar. All right. Crazy ass Keith Olbermann. She attacked Bobby. You're a lying, MAGA, disease-addled child. Yay. Of course, Jemele Hill has to chime in. I get your whole personality is caught up in stuff like this, so you don't care about spreading misinformation. See, that's what Jemele Hill does. She did that to me, and I said, well, I wouldn't have asked if I didn't care, dumbass. I mean, she hits you with, you don't care about it. Like she's the only one that cares. She doesn't care about it. She just has to keep it going, or else who's listening to her? You think she's going to break down a game? They tried that on ESPN, and it was like, why is this idiot breaking down a game? If the foul call made on her had nothing to do with Caitlin Clark, the foul call, it was because she fouled Natasha Howard. She clearly says trash and fucking whack call, but carry on with your grifting. I don't think that's true, lady. Good to hear from you. Grifting. Speaking of grifting, Jemele Hill, what else you got, honey? I didn't ask for the platform that I have. She came at Jemele Hill came at Riley Gaines. I'm so fired up today. I'm all over the ice. I simply said men in sports is wrong, which you as a self-proclaimed women's sports enthusiast have yet to do. So I'll ask directly, do men belong in women's sports? Silence is an answer too. Despite all the mental gymnastics the players and media perform, the WNBA has a racism problem. It's just not one, as the narrative goes, rooted in white supremacy or great white hopeism. Hell no. It's rooted in African-American lesbians being mad at white people. That's the WNBA problem in a nutshell. African-American lesbians will accept white lesbians. They will not accept white straight girls that kick their ass, like Caitlin Clark. And if you don't believe me, then you simply haven't been paying attention. And all of this is a smokescreen. All of this is bullshit. In some ways, I suppose it's good for the WNBA. I've told you before, I went an entire summer without even mentioning the Indiana Fever, and I had a talk show in Indy. I'm mentioning them now, but this is so clear to see. Black lesbian women hate white straight women that don't bend the knee enough. My wife said it a long time ago. Women in sports hate to see other women in sports succeed. And we're seeing it. Hey, you enjoying the show? I am. Make sure you head on over to youtube.com/@OutKick/videos to like, comment, and subscribe. That way you'll never miss any of our great content. And it is great content. It never ends with ESPN. Listen to this. According to, as Charles Barkley said, that dumbass, Kendrick Perkins, it's not possible yet for Anthony Edwards to be crowned the face of the league. Why? Not because he's not good enough, not because he's not talented enough, not because he's not dynamic enough. No. It's because he isn't married and doesn't have kids. That's ESPN for you. That's big fat racist Perk for you. Let's hear from the big fat one.
Here's the bigger picture, right? You got to check the boxes when you're the face of the league. Yes, we know you got to have your signature shoe. You're going to be in commercials. You're going to have the highlights. You got to have the game. But you know what else you got to have? You got to be a role model, right? And things outside the lines matter. Now, if you go down the list of all the faces of the league in the history of the game, you look at Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Shaq, LeBron, Steph, what did they all have in common? While they was playing in the league, they all were family men. They all were married with kids. And if you think that don't play a role as far as the role model, this is facts. This is not something that I'm making. Hold on. But this is not something that I'm making up. Now, what happened to them after they retired? That's their business. But while they are playing or was playing, they were family men, married with kids.
Yeah, that's total bullshit. I mean, everybody in the world knew that Michael Jordan was cheating on his wife. Everybody. I mean, what are you talking about? Shaq, during his playing days, got cheated on his wife, got divorced, had a restraining order. I mean, you can look it up. Shaq's like this lovable character, but look it up. I mean, I'm not telling you anything that isn't right. Magic Johnson got HIV while he was playing. And if you think I'm not even going to get into it, but there's an author named Lee Levine who wrote a great biography on Larry Bird, told me stuff about Magic Johnson way before it came out that he had AIDS. I'm not going to reveal that. Magic Johnson, an icon now. But the dude was legendary. You know, I know we got P. Diddy freak-offs, but Magic Johnson was legendary for the stuff that he was doing. Kobe Bryant, true story. His agent told my brother, that deal in Denver, they called ahead, said Bryant's going to be there. Make sure you have no women employees working. The two girls that had a problem with Bryant showed up, didn't get the memo not to show up for work. It's the kind of dude he was. Don't even get me started on Michael Jordan. Stop. Steph Curry, maybe. Just stop with that. No, seriously, stop with that. LeBron, don't even get me started on what happens when he comes to Indy. Like, the level of stupid here. I mean, I get it. You got to say something. I get it. I told Charles Barkley the other day when we played golf, you know the one thing I admire about Charles Barkley? Do you ever hear anything good, bad, or happy or sad about his wife or his kids? You know what you hear about? Nothing. Charles Barkley keeps all that out of the way. His daughter, I didn't even know this. I said, how many kids you got? He goes, I had a daughter, went to Villanova, went to grad school at Columbia. She's married now. He's got 2 grandkids. I didn't know that. Now, that doesn't matter. Anybody know, it's got to piss off Ryan Clark. I mean, Halliburton's got himself a white girlfriend and a white mom. That's got to make Ryan Clark crazy. That's got to shut him down, right, Ryan Clark? I mean, the fact that Halliburton has that, my God, he can't talk about anything. President Trump is not happy with that weirdo governor, Gavin Newsom. He threatened to withhold federal funding. Yeah, he did. Federal funding to the state as a result of a transgender athlete, A.B. Hernandez, dominating the girls' long and triple jump competition at the California Interscholastic Federation Track Championship Masters Qualifier. Hernandez is now set to compete for a state title in both events. Hernandez is a dude winning against girls. You go, Hernandez. You go. Hey. All right. I don't know. You tell me. California, under the leadership of radical left Democrat Gavin Newsom, continues to illegally allow men to play in women's sports. This week, a transitioning male athlete at a major event won everything and is now qualified to compete in the state finals next week as a male. He was a less than average competitor. As a female, this transition person is practically unbeatable. I always said, hey, I'm open, baby. Go play with the dudes. Anyway, it's not fair. Totally demeaning to women and girls. Please be hereby advised that large-scale federal funding will be held back, maybe permanently, if the executive order on this subject matter is not adhered to. Governor himself said it is unfair. I will speak to him today to find out which way he wants to go. There you go. In the meantime, I'm ordering local authorities, if necessary, to not allow the transitioning person to compete in the state finals. This is a totally ridiculous situation. There you go. There you go. I don't know what to tell you. The last sentence is right. This is a totally ridiculous situation. Honest to God. It's so ridiculous. I mean, throw yourself back 10 years, man. Dudes are being allowed, not only being allowed, being encouraged at 8 years old to cut off their peepees. Girls at 8 years old are encouraged to cut off their genitals and cut off their breasts. At 8 years old to transition, and parents think it's cool. And then as they get older, dudes with peepees hanging out are encouraged and cool to beat little girls in track meets. What? Swimming races. What? At the NCAA level. What? Put yourself back 10 years and imagining this happening. You can't. This is a totally ridiculous situation, as Donald Trump said. This is weird. Like, I get the Mannings are an important football family, but let's be honest. Let's just be honest. If the entire Manning family went off the grid tomorrow, nobody would miss them when the NFL season starts. You'd be like, hey, whatever happened to that Manning cast? Hey, I don't see any commercials. That's it. That's all. If the old man Manning, the dad, Arch, old Arch is the greatest quarterback never to win nothing. I mean, Arch used to run around there in bad teams. Oh, shut up. Now, young Arch is getting a special treatment. Steve Sarkisian, the coach at Texas, he believes the days of an undefeated national champion are long gone. Long gone as a result of formatting changes. He then went on to discuss that he believes he needs to protect Arch Manning so he can enjoy the experience of being the quarterback at Texas. Let me explain something to you. I get it. I get it. All these little guys that are head coaches and make $10 million to coach football, I get it. They're an entitled bunch. I get it that little Arch Manning and his daddy Cooper and his uncles and old Arch, the old patriarch, and Gloria, or whatever the hell the mom's name is, kids lived an entitled life. But if you can't figure out how to enjoy being the quarterback at the University of Texas, making about $6, $8, $10 million as a good-looking kid, then that's on you. If you're not going to enjoy that, then screw. Hey, man, you're not going to enjoy much. Seriously. Now, more than ever, I agree with Sarkisian here. Now, I love that Sarkisian went from a crazy man, right? Now he's the philosopher. All right. Now more than ever, the length of the season. Last year we played 16 games, and that was just to get to the semifinals. We had 17 to win a championship. And so the idea we all got to wrap our brains around, I don't know if we'll ever see an undefeated champion again. If we do, that's a really good team. Well, no shit. No shit, Sark. God dang, I understand why Texas hired you now. I didn't. You know, you had the whole thing at USC, but damn, I understand it now. That's a really good team that would go undefeated over 7 games. That man's a genius. Give him a cookie. It's difficult, yes, because of the quality opponents you play. Well, no shit. You mean, you clowns in football, really, if you played at a major school, only played really 2 games. Like you play at Bowling Green or something like that, the whole schedule's tough. But you play at Ohio State, you got 2 games. Now maybe you got a few more and everybody's bitching or commenting on it. He's not bitching, he's commenting. It's difficult, quality opponents you play, but it's difficult to stay healthy that long, yeah? You're going to have teams in years like we had, where we had last year when you lose your starting quarterback. Oh, sorry about that, Sark, but you're paying $6 million for a backup. I mean, that should be all right. How do you respond to your quarterback being down? Well, you pay $6 million to a Manning as a backup, dumbass. I mean, what's your problem? Are you a victim now? You lose both your left tackles. Oh, sorry, Sark. What, are people on your ass? Now you got to make excuses? That happened to us last year. Well, go buy another one. Or your left tackle and then your right side. How do you have the depth to endure? Let me tell you how I lost my career, dipshit. 10 years as a head coach at Bowling Green, 7 of them I lost my 2 best players. 5 of them I lost my 3 best players. So shut the living hell up. You got more money than you got sense. You do. You got more money than you got sense. What are you doing? Now you're bitching, whining, and making excuses. Shut up. So then he further goes on about old Arch. For a guy like Arch in this instance, I want to make sure he enjoys his experience too, right? No, not really. If I'm Sarkisian, the only thing I want Arch Manning is to win games. If he can't enjoy his experience driving a Lamborghini, being a Manning, and being on the campus of Texas as a good-looking dude making about $8 million a year, I can't help you. Lifelong dream, being a starting quarterback at the University of Texas. Now it's his opportunity. I want to make sure he has a great experience. Part of that is the exposure. Part of that is protecting him and putting guardrails up so that he can enjoy the experience. Great. He wasn't good enough to beat out a 7th-round draft choice, Sark. Hope you do a better job with him than you did with Ewers. I get tired of these coaches. I don't know if you can tell, and I'm on one today, right? But you just get tired of them. We lost our left tackle. Yeah, trying being in the MAC and losing your entire front line, and you got to replace him with a pasty white kid from Alaska who is a football player. I don't want to hear your bullshit, Sark. Just go buy more. That's right, go buy more. You don't even have to recruit, Sark. Now you're pissing me off, Sark. Oh, boy. Give it a break, gasbag. Just give it a break. Hey, Jemele Hill hopped on to CNN. It's amazing they allow her to be on there, but, diversity is their strength. To criticize Bob Iger for capitulating to Trump in response to Iger's ultimatum to the asshats of The View to find something else to talk about rather than to spew their hate of our president. Jemele Hill ain't happy about it. The stupid do protect the stupid, and when Jemele Hill ain't happy, then ain't nobody happy. Here is this race-baiting, grifting clown.
This is what this entire culture and media environment, like Trump is obviously, again, using his position as president to put pressure on these media companies. And I think a lot of them are capitulating and feeling that pressure because they have things and business deals and things on the side that they want to happen, that they want to do. And so to me, the disappointing part is that when you capitulate a little, as we've seen with this particular person, it does not matter. He doesn't care if you capitulate. If you give him what he wants, he's not going to stop asking for it. To me, it's just a simple thing of ratings. It's like, do the ratings support that you should stop talking about Donald Trump? Probably not. So if you are Bob Iger, who I do have a lot of respect for, he was my former boss, if you're him, that's the only thing that should matter. As long as the audience decides that they have an appetite for that, then that's what the women should talk about, whether you like how they discuss it or not. But it's not just about this for the ladies, it's about what this represents. You already gave them $15 million. Do you think these asks are going to stop? No. It's this today, it's something else tomorrow. So at some point, you have to draw the line. Bullies just keep bullying when you keep giving them things.
Correct.
That is what my grandmother always used to say.
Yeah, I mean, I get all that, but at some point you got to represent the brand too. I mean, my ratings were unbelievable. I was the best one, but I wouldn't go swimming in a pool with some old hag woman, so they got mad. I mean, you got a boss. I mean, I guess their ratings are good. I guess they make money, but at some point you got to protect the company. I say this all the time about college sports. At some point you got to protect the company. Hey, Davey, is Bob Iger wrong for trying to turn down the hateful, lying rhetoric of The View? You think he's wrong there?
I don't think he's wrong because how idiotic they continue to look. And it continues to hurt that brand, even though it's a situation they're not trying to win over new viewers, or at least with that audience. Like, they have their demo and that's who they're going to. So I think at the end of the day, it probably comes down to advertising's being hurt because they continue to lose viewership.
Well, she's saying that the viewership is up. I don't know. I don't even know when The View is on. But if I'm Bob Iger, like any boss, like today, I went on a pretty good rant. So if Gary called me and said, hey, Dan, tone that down a little bit, I'd have to listen to it. I mean, it's not the Wild West, right, Davey? You got certain guidelines that you got to perform under, regardless of whether your job is an iron worker, a policeman, somebody on TV, a radio host, right, a basketball player. There's always going to be certain guidelines to it. You know what I'm saying? And I do think that The View, with their lying, overstepped, if I were Bob Iger, numerous times.
Q1, I'm pretty sure their numbers were up simply because, Trump being inaugurated in like the first 100 days, but I'm pretty sure it's been a steady decline ever since that's happened, and they continue their same rhetoric. And so I think that's what Iger's looking at. And it's like, all right, we got to figure out something else. This is getting too much.
Yeah, is that what you saw? I didn't know that. I didn't know. I assume, like, whenever I look at different ratings, and the only ones that I really look at are when they pop up ahead of me. Like, I'll see something on Twitter from maybe Andrew Marchand about what happened in a game, or maybe somebody about the Fox against CNBC or MSNBC. I don't really go looking. So is it in fact that The View's ratings have gone down post-election?
They got to a height after the election in Trump's first, couple of months. But after that, at least what I saw, the numbers definitely plateaued, and you started to see a decline.
Yeah, no, I get it. And Bob Iger, he's got to react to that. And I also think Bob Iger is in meetings that these idiots aren't. And you know what? And part of those meetings are with pretty important people that are saying, not only are they hateful, but I would wonder this, Davey. I would wonder how many times somebody – I'll give you a story. A friend of mine was in Obama's wedding. Obama really went at George W. Bush. When you're running for president, I think it was George W. Yeah, it was George W. Bush. When he was getting intel – on a daily basis, briefing on wars that were going around. He didn't get all the intel. He got what you get as a candidate. The president gets more intel. Obama was really critical of George W. Bush and his policy on war. This is a friend of mine who was in Obama's wedding telling me this. He goes, Obama called me and he said, man, I didn't know what I didn't know until I became president, and they gave me the full briefing. Yeah. So he called George W. Bush and apologized. He said, I didn't know. And that's how I feel about Jemele Hill and all these idiots. They don't know what Bob Iger is dealing with. They don't know what he has to listen to on a daily basis. And it's not what he has to listen to in terms of opinion. It's what he has to listen to in terms of what is factual relative what The View says. You see my point?
I do, Dan. And to that, you look at Jemele Hill and a lot of the people that are in that realm. They also just get in their own echo chamber, so they're not looking at it from the perspective
Right.
of Iger. The other point I wanted to make real quick on the ratings, Dan, I never tuned into The View until after the first day after the election and Trump won his second term. And so I do think there were a lot of other people that would lean right, be conservative, that just saw how much of a train wreck that show was, and they tuned in because of that. And, you were getting that viewership early into the presidency, but that viewer that just tuned in for that stuff is finally tuned out, and that's why the numbers are on the wrong trend.
Yeah, I agree. All right, lastly, let's get down to what's really important, fellas, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. The Pacers whooped ass last night. They didn't really whoop ass. It was a good game. It was actually a very, very good game. But Halliburton, I don't know whether he's a superstar. I don't know whether he's a star. And I said this to a friend of mine today on Twitter. Nobody in the NBA has to prove anything to Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith's just a mouth that lied about his playing record. Stephen A. Smith is an unathletic, never coached. Again, diversity is our strength. Analysis is our weakness. Nobody has to prove anything to Stephen A. Smith. Halliburton's play proves what Halliburton is. And last night, Halliburton dropped the first 15 assist, 0 turnover game in the history of the NBA playoffs. Last night, 32 points, 15 assists, 12 rebounds. Big shots, too. Didn't disappear in the fourth. Seemingly got every rebound in the fourth. I don't know, man. You combine that with 0 turnovers, as in 0, that's a 15 to zip assist to turnover ratio. Only 2 guys did what Halliburton did last night. One was Oscar Robertson, the big O, and the other was Nikola Jokic. Now, I don't know whether Halliburton, in the eyes of morons, is a superstar. I do know Halliburton, in the eyes of me, is a superstar. I do know that Halliburton's performance last night was so damn good that, I don't know, maybe sort of you want to watch. I disagree when people say they're probably right. I'm probably wrong. OKC, Indiana wouldn't be an absolute ratings bonanza, but I do think the Pacers are a fun team, and Indiana in basketball seems to sell. Pascal Siakam's best trade in the history of the Pacers. I don't know the history of the Pacers. I know some. I don't know going back to the ABA days, that kind of thing, but you've never made a better trade, Kevin Pritchard, the general manager, or Chad Buchanan. Actually, Pritchard is the president, Buchanan, the general manager. You never made a better trade than that. And Benedict Mathurin was described. He was described by, guess what? He was described by Reggie Miller as being horrible. Horrible. During this series. Charles Barkley told me, can we pump the brakes? It's only been 3 games. Well, he wasn't horrible last night. Did you know Mathurin was averaging 25 points a game against the Knicks this year, including a career-high 36? There were questionable non-calls, according to my man. Good. You come into Indiana, you can't expect to win. And I loved what Halliburton said about his dad. There's John Halliburton. I've said free John Halliburton. He said, hey, man, my dad's not in jail. My dad's sitting in a really nice house watching the games. He's doing just fine. Yeah, but it's more fun. Free John Halliburton. Pacers are good. Pacers are fun. Stay tuned. Don't forget to watch. Don't listen to Clay Travis. Don't listen to all the pundits out there. Telling you. Boom, baby. Be right back.